Reload. Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. It's Sunday night. That means this is at week's end, and I can promise you, for the first time, I'm definitely not ready. We just saw the biggest week in television that I think I've really noticed in my entire lifetime, and we just had the greatest series finale that I've ever seen, ever, with Superman and Lois. We're going to be diving into all of that. A lot of new shows are starting. We've got an extra guest here tonight, our resident third wheel, aggressively relaxing, will be joining the panel to dive into a lot of this stuff. But let's just not waste any more time. Let's get into it.
All that ends right now!
There's better ways to change your clothes, but man, that was cool to look at. What is going on, Paul? Hello, AR.
He just smashes that suit. He's like just smashes Lex right out of it.
It's that yell when he's approaching, just screaming. You see the wind blowing by him. It's just, holy crap, what a series finale. How are you tonight, Paul?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
Better than AR, I think. If I can't get this little person to stand up for him.
He's gonna make it. Don't you worry about
the
it.
We Are Legion sign came down.
What are you doing? What is that? That chopsticks that you're holding it with? What is that?
This is a. I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about. This is welcome to my studio. I'm here to talk with you guys tonight.
It's like a little. It's like a little talk show. It really is. It's like that's like the host desk, right?
Yeah, I see it. There we go. I was waiting on the Joker.
Is that Sue Storm that's hosting the show?
No, I just have beautiful hair.
Okay.
Those who know me know this.
Okay.
That's an accurate depiction of him for sure. Well, we got a lot to get into tonight. Like I mentioned, this was probably the biggest week in television that I've seen in a long time, from a show wrapping up, shows starting, shows continuing. There's a lot to get into, some fun stuff to talk about. And of course, we have the resident third wheel back with aggressively relaxing, because we have a brand new Star Wars show. Skeleton Crew dropped its first 2 episodes this week, so we'll be getting into that, as well as Star Trek Lower Decks. Is it
Lower Decks? Yes.
I know that AR is very excited to talk to Paul about, because I'm no help.
It's true.
None at all. But let me say hey to the chat real quick. Got Las Crucias clocking in first with a good morning. Pops in there. Those custom emojis you see Pops swinging in the chat, make sure y'all hit that join button down below. Become a channel member to get access to those custom emojis, the loyalty badges next to your name, invites to members-only streams, early access to content. If you join the Legion tier, you get entered in the monthly Legion Loot giveaway. Hope for Life, what is going on? Hello. Get those tissues ready, everyone. Lots of crying coming. Yeah, might be, Joe. Might be. What is going on, Kev? Hello. Brother John, what's good, brother, sister? Can't stick around, sadly. No. All right, we'll put the show on. We'll just do it again next week.
There you go.
See y'all next week. That's the show. Oh. Hope everything's good with you, John. What is going on, Blue Hellion? Coco, what is up? That's the winner of the previous Legion League. 3-time winner right there. That guy's membership is most definitely paid for itself. Gary B got some stuff I'm catching up on here at home, but swinging by to say hi and hit the thumbs up. Appreciate that, homie. Steven with the C, what is going on, homie? A1 from day one right there. What is going on, Matt? We got Heroes for Hire Comic Club. Kenny B, what is happening? Hello, Christina. Anger Management, what's up? So we caught up quick with that one. So, yeah, be sure to share the stream out. It definitely helps. So let's get into it.
That talk show is definitely happening in California because there's earthquakes going on.
I see that. 7.2 magnitude. Real quick, as a reminder, everybody, there's awesome links in the description of all the videos, including to Big Time Collectibles, online retailer, for some exclusive Big Time Collectible goodness. If you need anything clean, pressed, or submitted, Justin Comics has got you covered. And if you want to set up a pool list, start picking up new comics for tabletop gaming, and you don't have a comic shop, ABX Comics and Games has got you covered. Any orders over $100 get free shipping. So if you want to start a long distance pull list and save on that shipping, they also have got you covered with that. So be sure to hit them up down below.
BTC is doing some mystery boxes too, right? With some special Funko Pops for some people and other good stuff coming
That
up.
9.9s being
9.9.
inserted in some. They have their holiday CGC. I think it's the yellow label mystery boxes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a signature series one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a killer deal for guaranteed heat. Alrighty. So where do y'all want to start?
Got to start at the top.
Superman.
Good call. Dune Prophecy. We're going with Dune Prophecy because, man, it's all downhill after you hit a certain point. So I just want to hit this real quick. Is everyone up to speed on Dune Prophecy? Episode 3 just dropped. Are you watching that one?
Yes, I'm trying to keep up with the Dune continuity now. It's one of those worlds that I do like.
Yes.
And, yeah, so I've been trying to keep up with what's going on over there, and it's good. You know, it's we're seeing the larger world explored, and things that are supposed to inform the story that we've already seen, while kind of like setting the stage for what we could see later with Paul, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Bene Gesserit world seems to be in disarray. There's all sorts of stuff going on there.
Yeah, we had some big revelations in this episode, despite it being primarily a flashback episode. This episode served as the backstory to our Revenant mother, the main leader of the Bene Gesserit Society. We see her as a kid, a Harkonnen. I'm assuming she was on Gidi Prime, which is the homeworld of the Harkonnens. We see that they were kind of like a desolate people. Their name was shamed and kind of turned into like peasants by the Atreides line. And we see that like they're whalers pretty much to just, for food and for trade purposes. And the family gets shamed and they have a house divided. One of the children gets killed by an Atreides, and the surviving sisters have like this mission to get revenge where their family doesn't want them to, just get by kind of thing. And there you can see where they have a thirst for power, a thirst for more. And we see where the two sisters take different paths. One goes to the sisterhood at a young age and has a rough go of it, but is quickly taken in by the founder of the sisterhood under her wing and shown her ultimate plan to evolve man and everything, while the other one goes on a straight blood mission and like massacres an entire group of Atreides and gets the family's revenge, but in the process ostracizes herself from the family. And then we flash forward back to present time, and we see the big secret that the Bene Gesserits are hiding is, and it goes back to the original one, the founder that fought in the machine wars against AI. She has AI, a massive amount of technology that is forbidden right there in their home, that's operating this giant index of different genealogies and the matchmaking stuff, and even using it to do a little bit of medical work with and stuff. And they're going to try to revive the young lady who passed away in the last episode, attempting to do the Great Suffering. So we saw a lot of stuff and a huge revelation with them having machines. Do y'all think there could be like a small scale machine war 2.0 somewhere in this series?
It's possible. It's funny because whenever something is outlawed, you know that somebody has it somewhere.
What's in your house, Paul?
right.
I'm not telling.
I don't know what you're talking about. I follow the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It could be. I mean, we could have like a little sub war or something. It's possible.
Yeah, it is interesting, the idea of, I guess, AI bringing along the Messiah. It's pretty out there storytelling, right?
Yeah, I think they did that in the Matrix already, right?
Yeah, right. Or the AI was compensating because the Messiah always has to happen. And this one, they've like actively are looking for it, are trying to create it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it was a solid episode. I enjoyed it a lot. It definitely had a real Game of Thrones feel to it because we spent a lot of time in the woods and with people doing like normal stuff, like just
and a lot of time standing in the rain.
why wouldn't you stand in the rain?
Sisterhood
The
above
dramatic
all.
effect, you know what I
Sisterhood
mean?
above all.
I feel like they all have hypothermia now. What is going on in House of L Comics? But yeah, it was another solid episode. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was solid, and like AR said, I love the lore to this universe. There's just so much, and it's really unfolding really fast with this show.
Yeah, it's touching on like a lot of different things. And to your point about it being Game of Thrones, and I'm trying to remember the actor's name.
Robert Baratheon.
Yes, there's just the king is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing his
It's funny
thing.
because I thought the same thing when I saw him. I'm like, he's in every single thing that has to do with, like monarchies and kingdoms and, and stuff like that. He's like, wow, he's right there.
There he is. And then when the young Reverend Mother walks around with her hood up and walks in places, she looks like Sansa doing that. Like you get the vibes. But did y'all notice how like when the flashbacks, like Giddy Prime, they're all out in like the snow and there's nothing. But fast forward to when she's old and we do get to see her like trying like, what do I do now that this guy is like pushing against our authority with Carino? Now he's not affected by the voice. I have to take drastic measures and do stuff that people wouldn't expect of me. She goes back to visit her dad, who's now no longer out in the snow, but living like high royalty. And he also has like the same style that we saw from House Harkonnen. He's in the wheelchair. He's rich. He's top of the tower. He's floating around in the chair. I'm like, hey, now this is starting to look like some Harkonnen stuff now. This is looking very Harkonnen. But it was a complete change of scenery. I was wondering if all that was meant to be built up in that time, or did they just get moved into a station of power where before they weren't? There's a lot of house dynamics now that I'm curious about just from the flashback. We're already 10,000 years in the past, and I want to know about 10,050 years in the past. It's a whole nother series that could be done there.
Yeah, and Dune has always dealt with these like large expanses of time. You read the first book, and it almost feels like the message is, hopelessness. The idea that even with, godlike, omnipotent perception, all you can see is, your eventual downfall or how things will play out in a way that you don't like after you're gone. And instead of, kind of like accepting that and that being the message of the book, you see in the rest of the book, a lot of attempting to do space magic in a way to, actually fulfill the role that Paul was supposed to have. So yeah, building this much bigger world on HBO and like throwing that much money at this world is super interesting. It makes me do want to go back and revisit the books. And that guy's name is Mark Addy, Robert Baratheon, and now
Robert Baratheon's his name.
Yeah. Forever till the end
but
of
he's
time.
great
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, it was solid. I definitely recommend this series if you're into Dune. If you're not into Dune, find out if you're into Dune. It's a thick watch. It's definitely a thick watch. A little risque at times too. Another one that's really good over on Apple TV. We got episode 3. Episode 4. This is 1 week ahead of Dune, but Silo season 2. We get another solid episode with Dame Rebecca Ferguson. Put some respect on her name. Walking around with what's his name? Something Zahn.
Stephen Zahn.
Zahn.
The harmonium.
Crazy.
Yeah, he plays solo.
Yeah, we pretty much have her having to come up with some kind of underwater breathing apparatus to get to some flooded levels of a silo to go get containment suits so that they can eventually leave this silo to get back to hers, to stop a inevitable rebellion that's about to take place and take the lives of everyone she knows and loves, as well as ultimately probably kill the whole silo. And back in her silo, it's everybody playing chess against each other. You have the engineers trying to scheme ways to get what they want from the people upstairs, and the people upstairs 10 steps ahead of them.
Yeah, I love the episode, but I knew as soon as Tim Robbins invited the judge to dinner, she was not going to be leaving.
I did not see that coming. It got me. As soon as she did the first little, I'm like, no. And then the conversation. So basically, the head of the silo poisoned and took out the mayor of the silo because she's a liability. And it's unfortunate because we find out,
The judge, not the
yeah,
mayor.
the judge, we find out that she has so much history with Tim Robbins' character that they were an item. Then she also has all this information that he wanted that she should have told. She decided not to even tell the viewers in any way, shape, fashion, or form. So she just died in story with information that's just like, I'm like, speak, speak. That's what I love about the show. It just has your curiosity going and you just want to know so much about it and they just hold it from you. It was a
Yeah, and
brilliant
it's
move.
really kind of interesting too because like the order and everything. It's like the whole thing is like pretty much if the shit hits the fan, just blame mechanical. Everyone
Blame.
just blame mechanical.
Yeah, we learned that from they found out that all the names etched into the lower levels where they thought they were the names from the first uprising, they were the name from every uprising and the reason. Like something goes wrong, mechanical was blamed. And I wonder if that's just because they're the easiest ones to replace, maybe. And then it had me thinking about Silo 17, how it was flooded. And that's what was really like fueling that uprising that it was in the process of flooding. I wonder if mechanical flooded it as part of their battle with upstairs or something.
Could be.
But yeah, Rebecca Ferguson's got her suits. Timothy Zahn's back in and out of the vault. He's really having homesickness stepping out of that vault. And everything back in Silo 18 is getting crazy. It ends with a small crew from Mechanical went to go have a meeting with the folks upstairs. And they get there just to find the judge sitting at her desk with a knife in her chest. And Tim Robbins and Common like, talk to her if you want. There you go. And then immediately walking out. And the murder of her getting blamed on Mechanical so that everyone else now has a common enemy and everyone can just team up against Mechanical. They're walking down the stairs trying to be cool, and now there's an entire mob on its way behind them. It's like every floor it passes, inevitably it's bigger. And I'm thinking to myself, one, that's scary as hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Two, can you imagine? Because it's a robber mob. Like they didn't see them kill nobody. Common came out and gave a speech and said, we got to stop them. They came in here and did this and got them all riled up. It's a pitchfork mob and sent them on their way. Can you imagine being riled up by a random person without any evidence? You just get riled up and then you take off downstairs and there's like 300 flights of stairs here. Can you imagine staying riled up for that far? I get 4 or 5 floors of like, yo, we can do this later.
Do you not follow politics?
We can talk about it.
These are vertical stairs, Paul. I think if what you're referring to, if it wasn't so horizontal, it might not have happened.
Yeah.
If that distance wasn't horizontal, it'd be a totally different world we live in today.
That's right.
These people are not in good shape.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's easier to. I mean, it's all gravity going down. Like, wait till they try to get back up.
Oh yeah, but that's a good point. They had to go up there to get him. Yeah, that's a good point, JSS. That's politics for you. Yeah. But I was thinking about that as they were going. I'm like, God, they got so far to go. And it shows you the whole shot. I'm like, there's no way. Like, these old people, they're not making it. Do you remember season 1?
Trick.
In season 1, when they were getting ready to descend the stairs, they took an entire day of planning, packing, prepping. They like it's like you're going on a walkabout. But no, these people are just like, I got no water with me. I got nothing. Raw, let's go. I'm like, nah. You'd all be like, no, let's go up here and let's go beat up the guy who just sent us down here. This is stupid. But no, in all sincerity, they're all doing that. They're fighting for their lives. That's what they all believe and feel, and ultimately is the case. 100% is the case. But great episode, some intense moments of her swimming underwater, getting caught up, trapped up, and the quality of the show is fantastic. Like watching her actually swimming under there, and I love the set designs, the world that we're in, every bit of it. Even though it's so confined and so small, it feels so vast. It's wild.
Yeah, it's one of the few shows at Apple that looks like the game Fallout. There's a couple of them that kind of do like the retro futuristic thing. And that's what it always reminds me of. But yeah, the sets there are just beautiful. You are living in that world. Everything is like custom and kind of does have that retro futuristic kind of like curve where you're like, what time period do these people get stuck in here? Is it in the future?
And then I mean, the acting is really is incredible too. I mean, that whole you talked about, when she started, when she ate the chicken or whatever, and the mushrooms, and that's what killed her. And then she starts crying, and Tim Robbins comes over, puts the
With the
VR headset
viewfinder.
on, the VR headset on her, and it's like, look down there, you can see the bird. Look up there, you can see the birds. Look over there, you can see
Yeah,
this
I liked
monkey.
how
And it's
well
like,
he knew it.
yeah, exactly,
He takes advantage of all this stuff that he arrests everyone else for,
right,
and has
exactly.
been taking advantage of that privileges.
See,
What
it's
got me
outlawed, and
is
everybody has it.
Oh, yeah.
what got
Open it
me is
wide,
when the
cook
judge
the
was
birds.
dressing down the gentleman who's been in season one. We know he's studying outside and trying to figure out what the dots in the skies were and all this stuff. And he's talking to her in her chambers about what he thinks they are, and she just starts confirming everything and then giving them this information. And you can tell she has this genuine sense of wonder from even getting to talk about it. And not only does the world turn, it revolves, and you
Right.
can just see him like just melting on the inside with happiness of just receiving information that he's been looking for. He feels like I feel watching this, like when we get the next little clue or we get the first confirmation to something we've been wondering, he experienced that. Then she just
Back
guard
Yeah.
sent him to the mines 5 years. I'm like, what? What? And how
that
cold
was a
it
wonderful
was.
acting scene, right?
Yes, and how cold it was to find out, like when Tim Robbins gets onto her, like, why would you reduce his sentence? She said, to show lenience. This guy's not going to last 1 year in the mines. Like, sent him on a death sentence and took the heat off us at the same time. Like, that is so cold. It's just a crazy dynamic to, I guess, the politics of this world.
She wasn't a character in the books, which was interesting.
Hey, we don't talk about books here.
That they killed her.
What are books?
Book?
If they don't have pictures in them, we don't talk about books.
Yeah, you better
But
not
they don't
spoil
have
nothing
books
for
in
me,
your
AR.
shadow?
I swear you better not
not
spoil
allowed to
something
wear-
for me.
You guys aren't allowed to read books in 18.
Yeah, so I talked to AR with the first season, and he told me that he messed up and read all of Spiral already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I won't ruin it for anyone. But yeah, that's one of the differences. And because I really thought they were going to do more with her character. I was very surprised that she was killed. I guess they're just doing it to like give a nice mystery for our crime solver character. So that's what I think they're doing with that. But yeah, what they were about to do in the books, I am very excited to see. And I do love all these characters. And you guys ever watch Daddy Daycare? The guy who plays Solo, and that's wonderful. And spends the whole movie making jokes about the Flash.
Strange Wilderness is my go-to.
Yes, another great. I was very happy to see him. I didn't realize it was him until when we first met him. I didn't realize that was who had been cast, but I'm pleasantly surprised, and he's doing really good in the role.
Yeah. Solid
He used to be
show.
like big cats, man.
Yeah, with some serious ADHD.
Yes.
I don't think I locked the valve.
I mean, that's a stressful feeling, though, right?
Yeah.
All right, there's another we had a show kickstart this week. And not just a show kickstart, an entire universe kickstarted, and the DCU, after a year since James Gunn first announced that we'll be doing a brand new DCU, we are officially there. The first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos aired on HBO Max or just Max, and you can check that out. Meow, it is there, and I thought it was decent, to be honest with you. The first episode was fine, nothing wrong with it. You get introduced to the people, the places, a little bit of like exposition dump to kind of connect you to what you need to be connected to. And then in episode 2, we kind of get into the story. The Creature Commandos are the monsters or the non-human entities that are in Belle Reve, where the Suicide Squad is also housed. And this is just the Suicide Squad. Like, it's a direct follow-up to the Suicide Squad. This is Task Force M for Monster instead of Task Force X, because Waller's in a little bit of trouble after her daughter outed the missions they've been running at the end of Peacemaker Season 2. That's why there's the necessity to use the monsters, because it's a loophole. You're not allowed to assemble any asset meta-human team. So she took the human in that statement and just found a workaround. And she's running this Black Ops mission to insert random European country that's still living in the 1800s somehow. And then bad guys from the Sons of Themyscira attacking it, and with Cersei, the witch from Themyscira. So they're being set out to go save this kingdom. Why we don't know yet, because it's Amanda Waller, so there's ulterior motives somewhere in. But the biggest thing for me was getting introduced to Rick Flag Sr. He's like a connective tissue for the DCU moving forward. He's confirmed for Peacemaker season 2, but more importantly, he's confirmed for Superman. He's going to be in there. Frank Grillo is playing him in the animation here as well as in the live action. The second episode I enjoyed a lot more. A lot of action in it, fighting, and we got a little bit of backstory for one of our characters, the Bride, which kind of starts to make you care about your characters, which I think was kind of missing from episode 1. But they're really short, so it's hard to pull all that off in that time frame. But it was fine. I'm assuming it's just going to get better as it goes, as we get more familiar with the characters and all.
Yeah, Rick Flag is kind of like the he's kind of like the Captain Kirk of this team. He's going to basically have sex with every female.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, she was coming on to him.
Real hard. Yeah, there was a for a 22-minute cartoon with credits, there's 2 sex scenes. Like, 4 people had sex in that short time span.
Mm-hmm.
I get nervous when AR's Lego shake. So do we.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, like you said, this is all taking place in California.
Yeah. But what did y'all think about like this being the official DCU kickoff? I did a whole video. It's available for members already, and it'll air tomorrow. Well, tonight at midnight. I'm changing up a little bit. The videos are now airing at midnight. See how that plays. But the fact that this is the official start to the DCU, I know like when James Gunn did that video, he made all those announcements and he made the comment that Creature Commandos will be the first project, but the real start to the DCU is Superman. I mean, you can say that, but that's not reality. Reality is this was the real start to Creature Commandos, and they even did that little the trailer for coming this season and showed you a nightmare scene with Superman crucified on a cross. So our literal first image of Superman in actual stuff was him crucified on a cross in a nightmare scene trailer for this cartoon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first chapter or whatever of James Gunn is Gods and Monsters, right? So if you take Superman as maybe being the god, and these are the monsters, right?
They just came together like butt cheeks.
There you go.
That just seemed cheap to me. It seemed like you didn't roll out the red carpet for him. That's just me. Errol, what did you think of this show? I know you watched it. Good talk.
Well, like, man, this is what's going on here with this. It's like, to me, I was really, really impressed with the idea that this is your story already unfolding. Like the idea that, yeah, there is a premonition that something is out there that is big enough to put, Superman on a cross. And I'd be wondering if you guys recognized, the other people in the background.
Yeah, the one on his left is Starfire from the Teen Titans, and the one on his right is Mr. Terrific. The rest are completely silhouetted, and I couldn't tell.
Oh, yeah, I can see Starfire. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So, like, seeing that and how it's paying attention to the larger world, like you said, why we have to do Task Force M instead of Task Force X. We've talked about this before, the idea of, like, how much of the other universe is going away. And I've seen a lot of people make a lot of hay of that. But I've always said, like, I feel like the DC universe's big power always has been the ability to make the fact that things aren't making sense, continuity-wise, a part of the story. So, like, I think, it's built in with that franchise that it's okay to kind of have these questions for your audience. because there's so many fun ways that you could answer it. But like, I was gonna say, what I really liked about it was, yeah, like, so we have a something that's terrible in the future, something big enough to stop Superman, and then we went really far back in the past with like seeing, you know, a montage of the bride's activities.
Yep.
And I was told that Sergeant Rock was actually in this at one point, and it
Could
was
have
like
been on the
interesting to
battlefield. They
see.
were in World War One and World War II battlefield scenes. And
So,
did anyone?
I heard that, and that even Daniel Craig was like credited. I haven't gone back and looked for that, but I found that interesting. But what I did see for sure was Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
I don't
James
know.
Gunn directed the Scooby Doo movies, the live action.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. You know, like, but I like the amount of universe that was kind of shared with us existing in the
catch-
DC
now,
universe.
But we also saw Starro, right? So they referenced the Suicide Squad movie. that he
Project
did,
Starfish.
right? So we saw that as well. So it's not like he's totally thrown out everything that's come before.
No, he mentioned Project Starfish. He mentioned Joel Kinnaman's Rick Flag,
Yep.
who died during the Operation Starfish, and gave us a timeline of his birth and his dad to kind of explain Frank Grillo being in there and the age difference. They had Rick Flag Jr. when he was 18, joined the military when he was 18. So not too big of an age difference, which helps out a lot. Did y'all catch in that montage with Frankenstein and the bride? There was a point when Frankenstein was wearing a shirt. Now, it wasn't the same color, but it did have the same thing. He was wearing Rick Flag's shirt from the Suicide Squad. The one that I own, the one with the little bunny rabbit holding up the billboard.
awesome.
It says obstacles are just opportunities in Spanish. He was wearing that, but it was a different color. I'm like, caught that. So I did see some people complaining about what they call cameo porn, because James Gunn promised he wasn't going to do that. Now, he was in the opening credits, which he stated that wasn't him that did that. You know, all he did was voice directing on this. Other people do the show and they wanted to do that. But the Shaggy thing, that wasn't a cameo. That's an Easter egg to his own personal stuff that he's worked on previously, which you're able to do because it's under Warner Brothers. But I think a cameo would need to be something like actually in canon, where just placing a familiar character there, you know, was just a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
No. Did he?
There was a lot of world hinted at if you were paying attention, and I like that personally. Because he had said that this was going to be, you know, a universe already in progress. Like, what's her name had been arrested in Gotham. We see a mugshot of the witch. God, what's the character's name?
Cersei, yeah.
Thank you. So I mean, like, she got, you know, presumably arrested by Superman in another adventure, perhaps. So like, things have already happened in this universe, and I like that, and I'm looking forward. I think more so to like what we see is the normal in this universe when we, you know, visit the Superman.
Yeah,
what I've seen so far.
The hints with the Superman, like I would, you know, like he suggested like Kingdom Come and All Star and stuff like that. Like I'm still of the mindset that the Superman movie is going to be like, I think we're going to bastardize Kingdom Come for it. Like the whole, like, you know, we have all these other heroes and Superman. We have like Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern. I think that's going to be like, those are going to be like that wave 2 of superheroes that just kind of do more what they want. And Superman's going to be looked at by the public at large as outdated morality and stuff like that. And they're going to have to learn that this is the way kind of story, you know. I really think that that's what we're going to end up doing for the Superman movie.
Well, there also is Gods and Monsters is the name of a chapter in New Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he leans on that some as well.
Get the Atom and stick him in the Flash's little backpack and have him run over the monster.
I mean, it was specifically the chapter where they introduced Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. We'll see. I still think we're going to
Gotham. Yeah, Metropolis. That's right. Joseph's 100% correct. But like that type of stuff, I like how big the universe already is. 2 episodes in.
I think this is going to be one of those things because how how anticipated this DCU is. A lot more is going to be unpacked out of this show than is intended to be unpacked from it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff is going to be assigned meaning that isn't necessarily meant to have it. And I look forward to doing it the entire time. The entire time. Also, overall, if I had to rate this show, the first 2 episodes, the launch of the DCU, and I'm going to go to the color scale for this because it's only fair. But I got the color scale here. I would put it at the yellow green. I wouldn't give it green yet because I feel like we could have done so much better. The jokes were all there. I didn't laugh once. It felt like outdated humor to me because we've done this James Gunn humor and just I don't know. And
Yeah,
maybe
the
we'll
guy,
get.
the guy who was stuck in
story.
the 80s was ran a little bit long in the tooth.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with it, and it could just be a me thing. Like, so I'm not really going to hit it that hard. But for the full intro of the DCU and the show, that's a solid color. Like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a passing color. But I'm looking forward to it getting into the green. But I think the biggest thing that really pushed this show down for me, I mentioned it on In the Mix, and Adventurous Joe even put it in a comment on the video that I did that comes out tonight. The reason this show didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell to be as good of an experience as it could have been is because the greatest thing I've ever watched on television aired this week. And they're laughing, but I'm being 100% serious.
Yep.
I've watched this show every week as it's aired for years. Y'all okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't look okay.
I'm trying to figure out what Finn's elf shirt is.
Oh, definitely not in here. But y'all already know what it is.
I have watched the last 15 minutes 4 times.
Mm-hmm. So I was doing posts about it all week, and I'd go back and I'd watch it again, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna make a post about that. But it wrapped up after 4 years in. We started saying it when we were watching season 2, Paul. Like, how is it getting better?
Mm-hmm.
How does this only get better as it goes? Ooh, sound off in the comment section if you saw it, if you watched it. What did you think about it? What are your thoughts? Superman and Lois is phenomenal. I want all seasons on Blu-ray. Go to grooveentertainment.com. You can pick up seasons 1, 2, and 3. That's your cheapest option to get them. They don't make them in 4K. They're available in Blu-ray and DVD. Grooveentertainment.com, not a sponsor. Yep, I did say that. That's not how that works. You have to have something I need. What's up, Joffrey? What's up, TM? But yeah, the finale was mind-blowingly good. I said it before. If this show was everything that I wanted it to be, I would have sold myself short. It was so bad. I'm not mad that what I've been waiting years only lasted 2 minutes. Love you. Have a good night. But before we get into the details of it, what did you think, Paul?
I think I said it on one of your posts. I think was the thing that impressed me the most was that it all came back to the man, and because he was such a good man, it made the super part even that more impressive for me. And so, the last 15 minutes, it was heartbreaking. It was uplifting at the same time. It basically pulled all the emotional strings, and when Lois passes away and the last word she says is daddy, it's like, and just the fact that they had her pass away from the cancer again was kind of, it was just incredible. So.
Errol, what did you think of the way that this show wrapped up?
Well, yeah, like you just said, that she did die of cancer in the end, and like that is why the show was so good. Was I think there's an episode in the very beginning where Superman rescues a Russian sub at the bottom of the sea.
That's
He
season 1.
knocks that out. It's like 5 minutes of the episode, and it's awesome. and it was like the easiest part of his day because he had to go back and deal with his son who has emotional problems, and then later on, like, yeah, a wife that has cancer, a community that needs jobs, and this is nothing he can punch, but he still, dealt with those things like Superman. And yeah, it's God, that show is beautiful. Required watching for anyone who just became like a dad.
Whew.
And like, yeah, like you said, the last few minutes is just like it is a. You could just take the last few minutes of Superman's life and show someone, like this really is what the real finish line looks like. That's it's a beautiful because it's hard sometimes to take like the fact that we do watch a lot of pulp stuff, superhero stuff, sci-fi, but the idea, like I said in one of the chats, this is just decades of super telling. People, some writers that we all really love, who have put together what they think a good man is, and people have stood on the shoulders of those writers, and just over and over and over again. And now, like 100 years later, we still are trying to tell this story. And they really did a beautiful job kind of taking everything beautiful about Superman and what a good life, led by a good man looks like, and turning it into a TV series of 4 seasons. But yeah, I recommend anyone who hasn't seen it. It's great.
Yeah, and the final episode here is like pretty much a 2-parter. Lex has been like viciously harassing this family for this entire season and the last couple episodes of season 3, and it all culminated with the battle with Doomsday. And this is round 2, really. The death of Superman at the beginning of this season led to him having to get a new heart that was supplied to him by General Sam Lang, Lois's dad, who went out like a hero, knowing that his heart would end up with Superman and hopefully give him new life, and it did. But it didn't give him the same life. He has a Kryptonian body with a human heart now, and that heart is just going to last the time span of a normal heart. So he had to really lean on his family in this. He had to lean on the fact that Jonathan and Jordan were here to help him. John Henry Irons still wasn't able to be much help in this, as Lex commandeered his suit, which, if you watch the show, some of the coolest things the show has done is brought us the things that we know and love about Superman, things that we've seen numerous times from a character that's been around forever, but present them in a way that we don't see coming. In the very first of the first season, this suit, this armor is introduced, and it has AI in it, and it's saying it's Mr. Luthor's armor. It was from another world, and ultimately we learned that John Henry Irons stole Lex's suit and made it to this world. So steel is in fact Lex's power armor from the very beginning of this show, and where it all ends is with Lex this Lex having the suit, having it upgraded by Brainiac ultimately to be Lex's power suit for the first time on this world. So we get the fight with Doomsday. Steel puts that hammer to his head in this episode, man. Teamwork makes the dream work, and he comes down like a speeding bullet with Doomsday hot on his heels, and he just eats that hammer right in the forehead, puts him down, and Superman's able to get him out into space before he can come back to life and just get ready to push him to the sun, where that should take care of him, being that this Doomsday, much like everything else, is kind of an original take on it, where he's originally made from Bizarro. So everything's kind of reversed.
But that whole sequence at the sun, without really any words, was incredibly touching too.
Yeah. Man, Bizarro died a hero.
It's much like in Red Sun. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember how that played out in Superman Red Sun? But when he gets there, Doomsday wakes up, and that hit on his head was able to get enough just for his memory to come through just a little bit and realize what's going on. And Superman's about to quickly knock him into the sun, and Doomsday just puts a hand up just to say stop and just to let him know it's okay. And you see Bizarro's life flash before his eyes, and Superman's able just to put a hand on his chest and just softly push him back, and him just kind of disintegrate into the sun. Not to get a little off topic here, but in everything, Superman kills eventually. Superman killed Zod in Superman 2. Superman killed Zod in Man of Steel. Superman killed Doomsday in Batman v Superman. Superman just killed Doomsday in this. He didn't kill him knowing he'll come back. No, he killed him. He finished him. And sometimes
He held him.
yeah, that's just how it is sometimes. But back to Earth is when back on Earth, Lex is coming for Lois. Ultimately, in this series, what's so great is he hates Superman, but Lois is the true enemy that he's trying to take out. And Lois ain't scared. Like the Super Sons are getting to smacking around by him, and Lois stands up to his face. And it was such an awesome scene because they're face to face with each other. He's in this armored power suit looking down on Lois, and she manages to like throw a little bomb on him, and him get up, and he's like, "Oh, you think you can stop me?" And Lois, without even turning around, without even blinking, just looks straight at Lex and says, "No, but he can." And right as she says that, in the background, Superman's coming down from the sky, just right past her, just takes Lex away to the sky. And he was done. Superman was done at this point, and that's where that clip that I played in the beginning happily played again for you. That's where this takes place.
All that ends right now!
And then what's even nice is Superman catches the guy before he splats on the ground, ultimately putting him in jail where he's not getting the same treatment that he was previously. Bruno Mannheim's in there, who's been a victim of Lex.
He's going to be somebody's stool.
He's going to be somebody's stool. Yeah, that scene was fantastic. And after everything's kind of chilled out, that's where we get the greatest 15 minutes in television history, in my opinion. Not just kind of stands on its own, but because of how it builds off everything we've seen from this whole series. And we go into this montage where Clark just starts narrating the same way that we started this series with season 1, episode 1, with Clark montaging about coming to Earth, becoming Superman. They do the homage to Action 1 where he catches the car and saves the kid and sets it down and all that. We montage out of the series, and it starts with, "I lived for 32 years." I'm like, oh, and it kind of just hits you because the show, it's just that whole family dynamic, that purity that these characters have, of honestly wanting to do good. And it kind of takes you through those 32 years in that montage with Lois and Clark growing old and being happy and everything. And you see him aged, and it goes into getting to see the boys grow up, and you see John and Jordan walk into the house in the flare from the sunlight. As soon as it fades, they're grown men now. And he says, and the grandchildren, so many you see them playing with their kids, and that's when he mentions these were the happiest years of our life, and me and Lois never spent a day apart. And then the cancer came back.
Fun fact: the actor who played the older Jonathan is David Giantoli, who played on Grimm, which was Elizabeth Tulloch's last series that she was on. He also directed one of the episodes this season, and the two of them are married.
Deep cut there. I didn't watch Grimm. The problem was it was great till Lois died. It was okay. Just didn't like his death. It gave us the whole play out of their life.
Right. And before we saw the older Jonathan and Jordan, we got to see the two of them in their suits.
Oh yeah, he was talking about how moving forward he didn't have to do things alone. They actually they did exactly what we were hoping that they would do when we talked previously. We see him go to the fortress and the suits start forming around them. Then we got that beautiful shot of the super family flying, Jordan rocking the new 52 suit and John rocking the Connor suit. minus the jacket. And if you look close at it, like there's a lot of little differences, like the S's are different and everything. You get
No belt around his thigh either.
no belt around his thigh. That's a missed opportunity. We got him in motion there.
Yeah.
Looking fantastic. You got Nat back there, Steel with the cape and everything. The Steel suit, they actually showed a still image of it. It looks pretty much fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks amazing. Was never a big fan of him with the visor mask, but you really can't do like the molded face with this kind of budget. But yeah, we get a clip of that. Then the whole cancer thing and Clark talking about how, and it was sad watching him like sitting there with her and seeing someone like Superman like cry is something that's, I don't think it's supposed to be comfortable. It shouldn't feel comfortable, and it definitely doesn't. It's like it just triggers something automatic in you. Like, wow, he's crying. I have to cry. But that scene where he says, like, when Lois died, I'd never forget the last words she said. It changed me forever. And you see her just kind of turn her head over, and she said, I think she said, did she say just daddy or hey daddy or?
She says daddy. She just says daddy.
Yeah, she leans her head over, looks in the distance, and says daddy. She sees her father pretty much welcoming her to the other side when she dies. And then it goes on with Clark being alone, and nothing was ever the same after she was gone. And eventually, I got a dog. How have I never had a dog before? And you see this beautiful golden retriever, looks just like the Crypto from Smallville. And he goes into a montage of how me and Crypto went on a lot of walks together, took a lot of naps, and watched a lot of sunsets. So we get Crypto in the end of the series, and then he's walking with Kyle through the city. He said, and that's when it happened. Ironically, almost in the same spot where my dad died, my heart gave out. I didn't die here because Kyle was able to save me, so he gets resuscitated. And we see him in bed with John and Jordan and Jordan there as he's like dying from his heart failing. And it was crazy what he said. He says, when I died before, it was nothing like this. The second time I died, it was amazing. And that's when the show gets, like, if you weren't wrecked, you're over with now, because like you just see him sit up out of his body, and he doesn't look old, he doesn't look sickly, he just looks like his young self. He gets up and walks through his house talking about what life's purpose is, what like the meaning of life, and he goes through like family, friends, and you see the recurring characters from the show like Kyle and Lana and his kids. And then he says forgiveness, and you see Lex Luthor crying at a table, and he walks up and just puts a hand on him, and that got me big time. The Lex thing, and then the last one, it just sends it over the moon when he turns from there. He sees his kids standing at the front door, and they're just like smiling. It felt very Titanic-y, like at the end when Rose is going back into the Titanic and the guys are opening the door for her, but these kids are standing there like basically you're ready. And he just stands there and he says the last thing is love. And they open the door and Lois is standing there in the red dress she wore earlier in the series, looking like a straight smoke show. And then the line's crazy. He's like, when I came to this world, I had nothing. I'm leaving it with so much, all because of love. And he's like, do everything you can to find love. It goes by so fast.
Oh my God, she's beautiful. As soon as he saw her.
Yeah, he interrupts himself to say, God, she's beautiful. And he meets her out there, fades to white, and we get the first time the show ends in the entire series. It goes out gold. What a show.
Incredible.
It really was. Way to go out on top. Yeah, exactly. Lady in Red. Not easy to do, Joe. Not easy to do. Man, it was good.
Yeah, perfect show.
It really is. Flawless. Absolutely
if you
flawless.
can, like, identify with that show, then you're blessed.
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it. They did a good job balancing everything. We have a lot of characters that they brought in, like with Steel and Nat and the twins. But the show is Superman and Lois. The focus is on them. Everything else are side characters, and they told Superman and Lois's story.
Yeah, and I know they cut back on a lot of the, they made a lot of the regulars from the last season. They weren't regulars anymore, but they used them in a way that it didn't really, in a lot of ways, it didn't really seem as though you really missed them too much because they were involved in enough of what was going on that, for however much they
you're
didn't,
right.
it felt as though almost that they still were regulars there.
I didn't even feel like they were gone.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people, making a big deal about the fact that, like, oh, this last season, they're really going to have to cut back. And I figured they were going to have to, like, they would leave Smallville or something for it. But no, you didn't feel it at all. In fact, yeah.
Mm-mm. And we talked about that, like if character budget cuts would be a thing, but everyone has their own. Everyone was like, in like Game of Thrones, like the show starts with everyone together. Event happens, and they all end up having to go in separate ways and stories here, there, here. That's how this was. Everyone was in separate ways, but it wasn't spending so much time on it. It was keeping its primary focus on our main characters and bringing them to the main characters when they were needed, instead of going down a rabbit hole with Lana and her family, or going down a rabbit hole with John Henry Irons. Like when those characters hit our main plot is when we'd see them. So it really didn't feel like they missed it all. These writers for this show are exceptional. But I give this show a 10 out of 10. This show couldn't be more green if it tried.
You had said, that Bizarro's life flashes before his eyes, but if you look back at that scene, what flashes before his eyes there too is his Lois.
Yeah, that was his life.
Yep.
So like, and then also we got to see John without the jacket. In I think season 3 we get to see John with the jacket.
Yeah, he's better without it.
But
saw
yeah,
Bizarro World, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, man. I don't even know what else to say about it other than go watch this show. Start from season 1 if you haven't seen it. Go to grooveentertainment.com, not a sponsor. Order the 3 seasons, and by the time you get ready for season 4, it should be about ready to come out. Again, grooveentertainment.com, not a sponsor. But
I don't know how much of it is on the CW app.
All of season 4.
Yeah, and I think the first 3 seasons are on Max, I think.
Yeah, you can watch the first 3. I don't recommend watching it on the CW app just because it's riddled with free app ads.
Right.
That's the only reason why I wouldn't say that, because if one thing that this show really is not going to be helpful to this show is if you have to get interrupted. Like it's worth not getting interrupted. I'm telling you, it's so worth not getting interrupted, because you get in the pocket with this show. Like this is it's got its lighthearted moments as Superman should, but it deals with like some like real stuff, like some really real stuff. Yeah, and if you have any reservations because it was a CW show, this is the last time I have to say this. This is not Arrowverse. I know everyone's putting up posts. The end of the Arrowverse. This isn't Arrowverse.
Right.
This never was Arrowverse. This is a standalone, completely disconnected from anything else. How Smallville was its own show, not connected to Arrow that came out of it after it. This is its own show, not connected with the Arrowverse. It's the same actor, different world. No other heroes exist in this world. Just Superman. The ending wasn't what I thought it should be. It was a 7.5 for me. Drop a comment. What do you think it should have been? Because I know, man, it was awesome. I haven't met. I think that's the lowest score I've seen. Is a 7.5.
Yeah, I've stayed on this show from the beginning. I think I've been saying for a while, it's a gem, and I can't recommend it enough. It's I really liked a lot of the CW stuff. I think there was a bunch of really nice moments in that, but yeah, it stands above. The Superman is just really, really good. I really like Superman and Lois.
It's definitely exceptional. All right,
Talking about too many commercial breaks is a good segue into watching a Disney show.
You get commercials on Disney shows?
Man, Disney Plus, if you have the oh yeah, it's fine, I'll watch commercials. Man,
I don't have the commercial account, but I did watch the new Star Wars Disney show, Skeleton Crew. The brand new show just hit. We got 2-episode premiere for this very unique show here. Unique is a good way to describe it. I caught the second episode today, and I will say one word review from me, and I'll let you get into it, AR. But I'd say it's delightful.
Delightful.
Did you watch it, Paul?
I did watch them.
Delightful. But yeah, what did you think of it?
I liked it. It was. You could tell it was aimed at younger viewers, which I'm fine for. I sometimes I like things that are aimed at younger viewers more than the things that are aimed at adults.
Especially when they miss, aim at
Exactly.
adults and miss. I don't feel like they missed with this one.
Yeah. At the beginning of the first episode, if I'm remembering correctly, it almost seemed like it was the very beginning of episode 4. You see the stars, it pans down, right? You get this to a planet. You see this big ship show up, right? You see a fight in the end. It's like, wow, it's like episode 4 all over again.
Little docking anchors. Like as soon as I saw them, like, this is like some like pirate stuff. Turns out the show's most definitely about pirates.
It is
like meant to be.
They even have It's nice that even in the Star Wars universe, the pirate hats look like pirate hats.
Yeah. Real quick, I swear on everything. I'd have to go back and like pause it on the big TV. I thought I saw Jack Sparrow pop out when they're at the spaceport. Not played by Johnny Depp, but I'm pretty sure that they pulled a Jack Sparrow pop up an actual like 1500 pirates outfit and run off.
No, but did you see who was a pirate? Urkel.
Jaleel White?
Yeah, he was the guy that had the half visor.
Okay. Yeah. Premise of the show: bunch of kids get into some tomfoolery, go exploring around, and end up on a crashed starship that was out in the woods, and tinkering around on it, and it hits that autopilot, takes off from their home world, and they accidentally get lost in space. The droid that's on board takes them to a spaceport to help them try to figure something out in the spaceport. It's a pirate spaceport. It's the one from Pirates of the Caribbean with all the ships, the dead, broken ships. It's literally that spaceport, but science fiction version. And it's a lot of slapstick, swashbuckling fun. It's literally Pirates of the Caribbean with the Goonies in space. Literally. But it's delightful. They do a good job of taking those elements and putting it together. So, to Sledge's point, if you don't think you would enjoy Goonies for the first time as an adult, without the nostalgia or watching it years ago, it might not like it. But if you're willing to hang in there for the first episode's a little slow to get rolling, but if you're willing to hang in there for that second episode to kind of get, I really feel like they're handling this project well. It's very unique. Oh, we've got some new guests on the show.
Oh, very nice.
How do you have Christmas outfits for all of these people too?
Is that a Lego turkey in the back?
That is a Lego turkey.
Okay.
You can see it's Life Day over here is being celebrated.
There you go.
Okay.
For those who don't know, Life Day is what kind of like Christmas is called in the Star Wars universe. And I've watched the holiday special more times than a person probably should. And that's a really great Easter egg when we see inside the little elephant's home, his siblings are watching kind of like circus performers doing something. Right. And that was literally taken right from the holiday special, which I don't know if you guys have ever watched. You find out B. Arthur is the bartender on Tatooine. At least she has a shift, there.
It's a thing
and
that George
there's a
Lucas
bunch of other
will never
weird
be
things.
released.
Jefferson Starship shows up at one point. But George Lucas said if he could destroy every single copy of the holiday special himself, he would. But he can't, and you can find it on YouTube right now.
It's been downloaded too many times for him to destroy all of them.
They'll never get it. But from that you see things like the Wookiee kind of aesthetic that you see that made it all the way to episode 3, or episode 2 when we first see Kashyyyk for the first time for real. It just looked like the silly holiday special too, and lots of things have been taken from there. So it was really nice to see that. And I got a bunch of these little guys with Christmas sweaters because they come this way every year if you buy the Star Wars advent calendars and get all sorts of fun little Lego guys. But yeah, man, I love this show. I'm a big Goonies fan, big Star Wars fan. I like that the guy, the robot that we meet, SM33,
right?
Smells out Shmi. That's great. There's so many little things. And yeah, and it opens up where we meet our space. Like you said, there's one in the background. I have to go back and now and look for an actual Captain Jack. But the character we first meet, the pirate captain, very much is doing a Jack Sparrow-esque attack only to get the 1 coin. I think that scene literally happened in Pirates of the Caribbean 3 or 4 when they steal that it's like a giant bank. They just literally steal the whole safe out of a bank, and by the time it gets to the boat where they're getting it, there's just the 1 coin left. But yeah, it's really interesting for people who are paying a lot of attention because you see the money there versus the money the children have, which you see is becoming a plot point, that the place that they live is the actual mystery, that they have left the best place in the galaxy, a place hidden from all of this, a place where the worst thing that can happen to you is you apparently have to become an accountant.
Right.
It seems. Yeah, a great premise for
Aden is the name of the planet they live on. It seems like every pirate in the galaxy thinks of it as the legend. It's Treasure Planet. It's Treasure Island. Aden is the biggest hidden treasure in all the galaxy. At this point we all just think it's a legend. We don't even think it's real. And these kids show up trying to get home to Aden. So now they're about to be chased by every pirate in the galaxy.
And I have an idea of what Aden might be. I have not seen if anyone else has put this forth, but there is a planet that you see in a High Republic novel recently where they find these little Komodo dragons that eat the Force, and it is a wonderful place. And to get there is kind of hard. Yeah, that's what I said. But to get there is kind of difficult, and it's kind of ate up with the Force. And what happens is, the spaceship crashes onto it, and the people come out of the spaceship. And how this planet's special is that where there should be a path of destruction, trees and things are already growing back really quickly. So the amount of growth on the ship versus meeting what I believe Jude Law's character is, he's the guy in the opening scene, right? Or Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't look like he's lived there long enough that ship should have been crashed all that way. And it seems to be connected to those people, unless he's just seeing it as an opportunity to get out of there.
I thought that was just a lost ship that was attempting to find Aden a long time ago and crash there.
Yeah, it seems like the ship's going to be connected to that. I feel like when Mr. Shmi there, SM33, meets this guy, he'll be the missing captain.
Yeah, I like how the droid has the peg leg, and instead of a parrot, he has the little mouse. It's definitely
one eye.
Yeah,
that little thing in his eye is called Snowball, by the way.
Of course, it is.
They have to have a name for it so they can put it on the merchandise.
Exactly. They're fishing for the next Baby Yoda. But I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, especially after the second episode. I really got into the vibe pretty well at that point. The insufferable kid syndrome went away when you got the adults in the room. It felt like watching Hook. When the kids get there and Dustin Hoffman starts talking to them and they're chasing them around. I'm ready to see the Lost Boys. I want to know what our Rufio for this movie or this show is going to look like. I'm excited. Yeah, do it. Rufio. But But it was solid. I gotta say, it was the most enjoyable Star Wars thing I've seen out of Disney in a long time. In a long time. If it keeps this up, this is going to be a really pleasant show. I'm thinking about going back and watching episodes 1 and 2. Would throw it on while the kids are playing in the room. I'm sure that they would dig this. This is perfect for the kiddos. But yeah, I did catch something else that caught my attention. When I say it caught my attention for y'all's attention, which I'm sure y'all have already seen this poster for this upcoming show. It releases January 24th.
Section 31. Yep.
What am I looking at here?
That's Michelle Yeoh.
I know that.
Oh,
Has her name on there. What's a Section 31, guys?
Section 31
can't
is like the black ops type section of it's like the section that no one admits to, that does all the sneaky stuff in Starfleet. It handles those missions that they don't want on the books.
Will this be a movie property or will this be
a movie.
a show?
It is a movie. They thought about doing a show, but Michelle Yeoh is way too busy.
What is she doing?
Like everything else.
Trying on a lot of purple clothes.
Yes. She's
Now,
basically
will they be fighting killer snowmen in this Section 31 movie?
that's to be determined, I think.
Why are you laughing, AR?
Because I've been fighting a lot of killer snowmen right now. Yeah, I've been streaming my playing Q's Winter Wonderland and Star Trek Online.
Yeah, I've been watching your Twitch streams, but I don't have a Twitch account, so I can't comment. It tries to force me to make an account to comment. But I saw you fighting those snowmen, and it's weird. You would just stop in the middle of doing it, which I assume you like go to do something else, and then you'd come back to the game. I'm like, how's he not dead?
They got a really good character.
Okay.
I'm playing this game. Yeah, for those who don't know, I'm the Fleet Admiral of Priority 1 Armada, where we've been playing Star Trek Online now for 14 years.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I have thousands of nerds under my command. You'd be surprised. Yeah, Section 31 is great. You see in what is it called? Discovery. Philippa comes from the mirror universe. That's the lady who we're seeing. So Giorgio Philippa in our universe we see die, and she's like a wonderful captain. But then in the mirror universe we see that she is the Empress. Long live her. And she's being kind of pushed out by her people after years of ruling with an iron fist. And as we see in the show, actually kind of like eating some people in the case of Kelpians. You know, she's a very bad character. And she is brought to our universe and is given a deal that allows her to stay alive and actually be used as an asset by Starfleet in Section 31. Section 31 is a part of the Starfleet Charter that says sometimes you have to do things to ensure the safety of all of the other nice things in the Charter, which allows guys dressed in all black to basically do whatever they want. And we're going to explore that idea just by itself for the first time in a franchise. Like, you can see examples of these characters throughout all of Star Trek. You know, and one of the things that really stood out to me, which I thought was great, is that we see in this show one of the guys who's like, it's just black and white. They are, you know, they have black on one side, white on the other, and then they hate everyone on their planet who has white on one side and black on the other. It was a very clunky metaphor from a 1960s episode of Star Trek.
But they appeared in one episode, and they're bringing them back.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see. You see one in Lower Decks too. He has a plaque on the wall saying that, you know, he was a great man for something. I forget what it was. Yeah, but the amount of love Star Trek is showing to some of its sillier ideas lately, I really appreciate. And it kind of reminds me of the tone of, you know, like what James Gunn is doing with DC too. And like an example of like accepting all of this canon and trying to use it in a fun way. But yeah, Section 31 looks great.
Was it founded by Kirk from Charon? Y'all see? Y'all got
Yeah,
comments. I can't do that. I don't know what they're talking about.
yeah, he's a person from Charon. That's right.
Yep.
So we get to see a person from Charon, and a bunch of other fun things were teased, and that was really good. And there's not really much we can take from the trailer. I don't know, Paul. Did you see anything you want to talk about from the trailer?
No, but I thought. I mean, you talked about the two characters in the original series that are from Karen, and the one is black on one side and white on the other, and the other one is white on one side and black on the other. And the whole thing was, through the entire episode, Kirk is like, you guys need to work together, and he's like, no, can't you tell they're my sworn enemy? And the reason being is because the side that's black on one person is white on the other person.
Yeah,
and it's
they're polar opposites.
Exactly, they're polar opposites.
Clearly.
Exactly. But yeah, it was very heavy-handed for the '60s, like you said, AR. But yeah, I mean, it looks incredible. It looks so good. I kind of wish I could see it in a theater somewhere on a big screen.
Yeah, I do. I wish they could release it that way too. I would definitely go and support it.
Mm-hmm.
In the same breath of like taking things from really old Star Trek and trying to use it, Lower Decks brought back in one episode of one of the later episodes of Star Trek. You just see that Greek gods, they're just real, and that's the premise. And it's something you never really see ever again. And they've brought it back in this in a wonderful way in Lower Decks. A Greek god just kind of joins Starfleet. And also gets involved in a clunky morality tale on purpose where they have squares or cubes versus spheres.
Right.
It's a planet where all these cubes hate the spheres, and eventually they hook up, which is really nice. The Lower Decks this season has been amazing.
They brought Data back, so that was kind of cool as well. So
Purple Data,
that's right.
In his universe, everything's a little more purple. Yeah, it was really, really nice to see the actor from Data come back. And this is the final season. God, I can't think of his name right now. I'm drawing a blank. But this is the final season of Lower Decks. And with only a couple episodes left, we're about to see something crazy. I'm personally really, really hoping for William Shatner appearance. That's what, I really would like to see. He's in his 90s. Give Bill Shatner one more time in the chair, even if it's in a cartoon form. He looks good enough that you can bring him on set. I wish they would just have him show up in the 30-second Century unexplained, like talking with Guinan at a bar. That'd be great. But, there's a couple more episodes left. This week's was great, where you got to see the upper decks. So the idea of Lower Decks comes from a TNG episode where you get to follow the Lower Decks for one episode, and they talk about Picard and Riker and everyone, and you see it from their point of view. So from after 5 seasons of Lower Decks, we now get an episode that is solely about the bridge crew and their exploits this week, and it was really pretty good.
I just watched the trailer for Section 31.
Yeah.
That looks outrageous.
Looks good, doesn't it?
I wouldn't say that. Like, I don't know. I know the Kelvin movies.
Yeah.
And that just looked weird. Like, it's like, hey, ladies, get in formation, and they're like, girl, you're a bad bitch, and all this in the trailer. And is Michelle Yeoh like the bad guy or the good guy? I couldn't tell.
She's from AR was talking about. She's from the Mirror Universe, so she was basically
the bad version.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's a monster.
Okay, it looks like just like that bar from the first Suicide Squad where Harley and Joker were hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it just takes place in that bar, just a bunch of fighting in that bar from that trailer. But I don't know. That was not what I was expecting from a Star Trek trailer. I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna see what's up with it.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to say what they're doing. All we know is Michelle Yeoh is gonna be awesome.
Hmm.
So,
Well, yeah, they're clearly going to try to topple this crazy Michelle Yeoh killed millions of her own people to have her dance party place. That's what it looks like from the trailer, right? Like
it's
this
got a
woman.
pretty cool spiral thing now.
Like,
I don't know how she got
what did
that.
I just watch? That was weird.
She seems to have a space station, I guess, now. And it makes sense. Like, the idea is that she's this hyper competent. So now, left to her own in this universe, she's gone and, started cutting out a little empire. And now they're going to call in their favor to her, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, the budget looks like it's there.
Mm.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
Where
it's
does it
weird
take place
there, man.
timeline wise? Like with the shows that they have on and everything. Y'all see any familiar characters other than Michelle Yeoh?
Well, the last time we saw her, she went through the Guardian of Forever, right?
Exactly. That is a very interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
When is this? It appears to be what is known as like the Forgotten Era, basically the era that you see between the original TOS episodes and when we meet the crew again as in the movies. So like there's a period of time there you just don't see what's going on, and then there's also a big long period of time between the movies and then when we get to TNG. And a lot of people think it's going to be somewhere between that, because the characters that brought her through from the mirror universe, Michael Burnham and them in Discovery, that was all set during the original series when Kirk and them were around.
Until they jumped to the 35th century, right? Or whatever.
Got you. Yeah, budget definitely looked. The little shot we got of the space chase, like, yeah, I'd like to see some more of that. Some more of that, please. That is an interesting idea. Like, like do like maybe like a series of movies versus a series of seasons, because like the accumulated budget of a season, you can put out a damn good movie with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's more time, but I guess like you don't get like the streaming stretch, of doing like we get them for one-off movie versus getting them to buckle up for 2.5 months worth of subscriptions. I don't know. Looked interesting for sure. I'll check it out. A lot of space stuff happening. Dune, Star Wars, Star Trek. Well,
Yeah, man, there's a lot of good universes right now getting some love. It's great.
yeah.
Like, I live in a universe right now where I just got a new Star Wars and a new Star Trek this week. Man, life's good.
Mm-hmm.
How many more episodes does Lower Decks have now?
God, 3?
2 or 3. That was episode 8, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And this is the final season, you said?
Yeah, it's gonna live on in the comics. It's an ongoing comic book now.
Yeah, Ryan North is the perfect writer for it too. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm psyched about that. I go on and on about his Squirrel Girl. I love his Fantastic Four run. He always does things. Basically, he's a computer scientist and a comedian, and those two things normally don't go well together. But he does a great job of kind of like using his comics as a chance to teach some basic science. Sometimes there's a Pokemon Joe has great reviews. He's been loving it too, the Fantastic Four, because it does try to teach you something. So he's kind of, I think, the perfect tone for Lower Decks, and he already did a 3-part series from IDW, which was very funny, where they hang out with Dracula in the holodeck, which is pretty good. And here it is.
Did
I
you
have the newest episode or newest issue right here.
did you get the Choose Your Own Adventure book that they did?
I did get the Choose Your Own Adventure book. I got it as a present. So I'm about to give that away. Did I tell you guys about my Picard Cup saga?
No.
Yeah, I saw the comment where you bought Picard's cup and you got hosed by some lady in Michigan or something?
Milwaukee. Yeah. There's a very specific cup that Picard has. I thought, I'll look this up. This will be a great present. turns out it's actually a mass-produced cup that has a little square handle that looks clear. You can look it up. It's from a company called Bodum. But people have gotten hip to the fact that this was Picard's cup and bought them all up, and now they all go online for like $30 a fucking cup. Pardon my French. But the point is, I bought this cup. It came to me, and it's the wrong cup. It's just another Bodum cup that's similar to that one. It's not the right one. So now I'm scrambling and have a new one coming, hopefully by Christmas. But yeah, that's I'll let everyone know. Look
Paul,
for
how
me
many of
to
these
try
cups
out
do you
post
own?
on Instagram.
I do not own any of those cups. I have, however, on occasion, bought some of the Star Trek wine that they sell.
Oh, speaking of that, did y'all catch the stupid blue milk and
Yes.
skeleton
Swedish,
crew?
right?
Yes.
We're not normalizing that. I'm sorry. I want to point out that Luke chugging the blue nipple crap off that creature on the rocks is still ridiculous. The dumbest thing that Disney's ever done, just destroying that character. And this kid drinking blue milk in his cereal does not make Luke's actions okay. Not at all. Just want to put that out there.
Well, blue milk comes from, you see it in the very first time Luke's having lunch with Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
Yeah, and they ruined that. Yeah, now that's disgusting and not okay.
I always thought that blue milk just came from sad cows.
Aw,
All right, well,
that's really a sad place.
We hit the 10 o'clock point. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm dog tired. A lot of shows this week dominated the conversation. We'll dive into some comics next week. I got the Black Friday haul coming out this week, and that Creature Commandos video. Check that out for more details on that. But if you want to know what's going on with Absolute Superman,
Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock on my channel, DC Comics Deep Dive. We take a look at Absolute Superman #2.
boom, recorded, and I'll be out at 10 a.m. AR, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks
diving
for having me.
into some of
Talking Star Wars and Star Trek, the best.
Yeah. Honorary award winner, aggressively react.
That's right. I used to not say nice things about the awards, but now that I have been tangentially awarded one, I have to admit I think they're based on merit.
But yeah, appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. I'm gonna wrap it in. That way I can.
It takes a great man to admit his mistakes.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm about to go watch Landman episode whatever with Kyle before bed. Spend some time with the wife. It is the holiday seasons after all. But I hope y'all have a fantastic evening and a good start to your week. Until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.
All that ends right now!